Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss, making decisions my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
There's always those moments, man. There's just certain GOATs, there's just certain greats, there's just certain moments in entertainment where you have to tune in, especially if you're a hip-hop head, right? There's some of those classic movies, man, where it's just like, man, we're counting the clock. We're just waiting for this movie to hit theaters. Certain rappers, new Jay album on the way, new Nas album on the way, new Eminem on the way. What? We're going to tune in. We need to see what's going on. And it's here, man. The death of Slim Shady. We got the single and we did the reaction a couple weeks ago to this. I did peep the official track list a couple days ago. It's like 17 tracks. And here is the album. You know, this is my first time going through it today. I know that there's been some like leaks that happened over the last couple of days. I waited. I didn't know if anything was going to be unofficial, anything was going to change. I listened to the official drop twice today. Once this morning in the gym, once after as I was moving around, kept it playing. So one thing, but let's start right here. I do agree that there's just certain albums and certain rappers where you don't do it its full just due to recap it after one or sometimes even two listens, okay? Especially a rap of Eminem's caliber. There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot of hidden gems. There's Easter eggs. There's themes that you maybe miss. All types of stuff. So I do want to give that small disclaimer. I think I got a good enough ear to listen to something and say whether I think it's hot, it's trash, whether I'm going to compare it to some of his other top albums, which I'm going to do in a second. But still, in all fairness, this is Eminem, and I could have missed a couple things. But let's get into it because I'm going to talk about some of the good and some of the bad of the album. And I'm going to go back and forth and mix this around a little bit. All in all, let's just get right to it, man. I do believe that the Slim Shady or this Death of Slim Shady album is one of his top 3 albums of all time. Let me just say it there. Crystal clear. Let's just jump straight to it. This is Eminem. He did not let us down. How old is Eminem right now? Hold on. Give me 1 second. How old is Eminem? 51 years old. Man, God bless you, sir. 51 years old and still arguably the best rapper in the world. And when it comes to a collective of art, aka an album, what this man has put together is incredible here. All these years later, this Death of Slim Shady album is incredible. If you're going to crack it in the top 3 the way that I do, these to me are the top 3, okay? The Slim Shady LP, the Marshall Mathers LP, and the Eminem show. I feel like I might get some comments about that not being in the top 3. Some people have a different debate. I'm an Eminem fan just like everybody else, so I expect that to be debated. But I do think that this Death of Slim Shady LP crashes the top 3. That's what I think. And I've only listened to it twice. This is an amazing album. Now, I want to talk about his standout, his top attribute, along with his charisma and his humor and all that type of shit and his creativity, his rap ability. Okay. This is one of the first things, and I'm going to go bounce back and forth to pros and cons. This is one of the first things that I thought was missing on this album. I like to see Eminem rap next to some of the all-time greats and give us fans the ability to just rank, i.e. Renegade. I want to see that. I don't feel like I got this on this album. We'll get to Toby in a second. He's rapping next to 2 other great guys, but that doesn't come off like a competition type of track or moment, right? When we get moments like Renegade, these are classic moments in hip hop where we get to get in these barbershops and we get to get online and argue for ages who had the better verse, who outshined the other person. So let's kind of put this out there and drop some comments below if you think I'm missing anybody. I know I'm going to leave out a bunch of people, but who could really rap alongside Eminem? I'll name some people who I think could rap alongside Eminem. Jay-Z, even though I think M got him on Renegade, he could rap right next to Eminem. Nas, of course, could rap right next to Eminem. Big could have rapped right next to Eminem. I mean, actually, they have a song together, but it was put together after Big died, right? But Big could rap next to Eminem. Andre 3000, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole. These are people that could rap next to Eminem. Jadakiss could rap next to Eminem. There's a bunch of Wu members. Somebody would argue as well. When you get into the pure linguistics of things, some people are going to throw Ghostface in there. Jizza, Inspector Deck. You got some people that put Inspector Deck in like top 5 lyricists. There's a bunch of people out there that could rap next to Eminem. So aside from losing that great versus great track that I like to see M do every once in a while, this album doesn't have that. There's one person that I left out, and I left them out purposefully. This is probably, arguably, the only rapper that can do what Eminem does, along with his own shit. Who is that person? Royce the 5'9". Why doesn't this album have Royce on it? That is a hole to me. I was looking for a bad meets evil type of color. Where is Royce on this album? Just give one track, M and Royce. M and Royce, man. I needed that, and I didn't get that on this album. So him rapping alongside of a great, so we could have one of those classic debates again, like Renegade, as well as Royce being there. That to me was one small takeaway that I had. I didn't like that at all. But let's keep it moving. When we talk more about the album, I got a question. Drop a comment below. Some of y'all hit me. Why is Eminem provoking Jay? Why is he provoking Jay-Z? Is it like a troll thing? Is it him trying to get into a debate because you see him dropping these type of lines where it's just like, don't put none of these guys ahead of me. I already roasted them. Who are you talking to? You talking to Jay? And we know that's not going to be like no Kendrick and Drake type of shit, no beef or nothing like that. M, I think, he might be competing a little bit. And he's already could be argued as the best rapper of all time, even ahead of Jay rap wise. People could easily make that argument for him, but it seems like he's stabbing at Jay a little bit. So y'all kind of bring me up to speed of what that history is about. I'm out the loop on that, but I'm hearing that a couple times on this album. But if we get into some of these tracks, some of the highs and some of the lows, I think out the gate, the track Renaissance, he just comes out firing. That beat sounded a little familiar too. The beat itself sounds like maybe even something 50 Cent could have been on. Sounds like a familiar beat. Speaking of 50 Cent, that's probably the second person that I probably would have liked to see on this album, along with Royce. 50 isn't on this album either. But anyway, comes out the gate swinging with Renaissance. That was crazy. And I'm looking at the track list right here. A lot of us at this point have listened to Toby already. I mean, Babytron, him, Big Show. Man, they murdered that track. The flows, the pockets, even the video. I like the video. It's dope of like them just replicating each other and just like that sliding sequence that continues. The video is dope. That track is a standout to me. Pure lyrical jousting that was just happening on that shit. And I probably could do a reaction on that song alone and just get into the layers and the pockets and the lyricism of that track. But it's still a standout. Maybe that's one of the reasons, that along with him putting on with his native Detroit people, why that's one of the videos and early songs that have come out from the album. But that was dope to me. Here's another high point to me. Melody wise, it's not a high point. But as far as content, for me, it's a high point in the album. And that is the song Temporary. Oh my God. That song made my skin crawl. If you haven't listened to the album yet, Temporary is a time capsule of him rapping to his daughter, Haley, after he's passed away. Kind of like saying, giving him a message, don't cry. I did this, I tried that. I'm still here for you and all that. He's rapping as if like it's being played past him, after he dies. And man, Haley and his daughter has been a consistent theme, a consistent message from all different types of angles in his albums since we've met this man, since Eminem was a kid. He's 51 years old now. We've heard Haley consistently. So she's grown up through his music too. And this song right here, because you get to a point where you're listening to almost the first half of the album and you're like, yo, I want the substance. I'm getting a lot of the jokey and the clowning and the trolling type of N, the fun, charismatic M. I need the substance to kick in. This is one of those standout substance type of tracks. And like I said, man, it made my skin crawl. Like when we talk about time capsules of like recency, Kendrick did that on the first verse of Meet the Grams to Drake's son, Adonis, right? It's a time capsule. Play this when you get 18. This is a very, very heartfelt time capsule. Like, look, I'm no longer here, but this is my message to you. Oh, eerie, but very high quality track. I love it. I think it's a standout on the album. Very, very high substance. It's good to see pieces of work like that or artistry like that caliber on an album coming from M. Somebody Save Me. That's another one of substance. Just when you think that all you're getting is this playful trolling Eminem, the Somebody Save Me. I think that's the last track on the album. That's how he closes out the album. It's a very self-reflective, apologetic. He's apologizing to a lot of people in his life, of some of his mistakes to close out the album. Very, very substance-laced track, man. It's another standout to me. I love to see him in this mode. We all know he could do the other thing easily, the other stuff easily. These type modes, he reminds us, I can get in those bags as well and make it heartfelt, make it hit. You know what I'm saying? Very, very personal track. I respected it. Another one of my personal favorites, of course, Guilty Conscience, right? That's like an on-running thing for we M fans, Guilty Conscience. And the Guilty Conscience track plays directly into the theme of the album, the theme of the cover art, the theme of Marshall Mathers versus Slim Shady. Slim Shady being this alter ego that was created that has the balls to say the things that Marshall Mathers doesn't say, to go after people and disrespect people, whether it be based on their sexual preference or their disabilities and whatnot. That's the Slim Shady side. But this track right here is like Marshall Mathers, like tied up with his hands and his feet bound by Slim Shady and them rapping back and forth at each other until I won't spoil it, but at the end, Slim Shady cuts the ties off his hands and his feet. Like, all right, let's get it rocking now. Let's fight now, whatever. And it ends how it ends. You know what I'm saying? But Eminem has always presented that duality of him, like the Slim Shady, I'm getting after everybody, I'm trolling, I'm disrespectful. Marshall Mathers comes with a little bit more substance, tries to be a little bit more reserved and contained. But I think you see that theme in skits throughout the album, and this song kind of brings it full focus. But the funny thing, so after this song is over, a skit plays of him calling Paul Rosenberg or whatever, and when he calls him, he's acting like he woke up from a nightmare. Like, yo, I just had this nightmare that I was saying all these harmful things and mean things to each other. He bangs the phone on him. And then M gets the phone hung up on him and he starts laughing. Almost to say, like, Slim and Marshall, they're really the same person this whole time, you idiots. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I created that to get by in society and I guess be palatable to certain people's ears and have an excuse for saying the wild shit that I say and get around y'all trying to cancel me. But it's really the same fucking person. And he trolled this man on the phone about it and then laughed when he got hung up on. So listen to the song and then give me your interpretation of that skit that plays after it. And it's like he kind of like exposes himself, which to me is clever, which is just real clever shit. Those are a lot of the standout tracks for me. I think one of the low points song wise to me is the Brand New Dance. I mean, we already got hit with the lead single, which is pretty consistent to what Eminem does. He always comes out with kind of a playful comedic single, similar to like he started like that. Hi, my name is. He always leads off his albums like that. And this is probably the second one on the album, that's a little bit more playful in nature like that, like all the way to the circus side of things. And it doesn't go for me. It doesn't go for me. The Brand New Dance is one of the songs that could have been left off this album for me personally. throughout the whole song. It's kind of like a Christopher Reeves attack, and you hear the sound effects of like a horse galloping the whole time throughout the whole song. He's constantly making fun of, you know, Christopher Reeves for being paralyzed and all that type of stuff. You know, him being in full Slim Shady mode, full trolling mode, full saying all this disrespectful, controversial stuff, especially in today's society. But it was one of those tracks I was just like, I could definitely do without this. That's a very skippable track for me right there. But sticking on that, Eminem remains one of very, very few people, and I kind of like put him in that same boat as Dave Chappelle. The few people that can really get away with saying this type of shit, especially in today's society. Like when the Slim Shady LP first came out, you know, the times were different. He still got a lot of fire for the shit that he was doing and the shit that he was saying, but it's definitely way more sensitive times right now. And the things that Eminem says will get the average person canceled. You know what I'm saying? Him and Chappelle those are only two people that can get away with like going after homosexuals or being gay or speaking on people's mental or physical disabilities. Those are like two of the only few people that can do it. And he does it in full Slim Shady mode almost this entire album, outside of when he's in Marshall Mathers mode. And so I think that's something to always pay attention to. There's probably going to be a lot of controversy that comes out of this album. People's going to try to cancel him. People's going to be upset, but it's Eminem. He hasn't changed up who he is. He hasn't changed his formula. At 51 years old, he's still giving us the same M. He's not going anywhere, right? He's not as far as like, oh my God, he said what? Get him out of here. He's not going anywhere. So, I mean, this album, man, it gives you the complete nature of what you expect from album, from the trolling to the humor to the joking to the skits. Ken Kniff makes an appearance. The Ken Kniff shit is hilarious. To his phone calls to his friends, Dr. Dre production all over the place. Even Bizarre, you know, he went and grabbed one of his D12 original Day One homies. Bizarre is on the album. Like I said, there's a couple features I would have liked to see. I would have liked to see one of those mega heavyweights go side to side with him again in kind of like a competitive track. I would have liked to see Royce on the track. I would have liked to see 50 on the album. I would have liked to see 50 on the album along with Royce. So a few small holes, but all in all, from an M standpoint, it's a complete album. Complete as far as what he's always been giving us, what he's always been known for, and he hasn't lost a step. He still is arguably the best rapper in the world, bar for bar. He still is. Easily, you can argue this man as the best rapper in the world. People's going to have their personal preference. People's going to have their debate, but that's just a personal opinion, personal preference. He deserves to be in the debate. Fast forward all these years later, same M. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that he let us down at all. And y'all let me know if I'm tripping. I'm saying these are his top 3 albums: Slim Shady LP, Marshall Mathers LP, and the Eminem Show. Once again, I feel like this one gets debated as number 3 the most. But if you disagree with that album lineup, let me know. And I feel like the Death of Slim Shady album just crashed his top 3 albums. Maybe that's personal preference. Maybe I need to listen to it more than twice. Maybe I need to go back and listen to some of his other albums that y'all see on the cover for this video and the thumbnail. Maybe I need to go back and refresh my memory. If I'm tripping, let me know. But all in all, I'm not ready to throw the C word out there, the classic word out there, until I give it a few more listens. But if you haven't listened to this album, it was well worth the wait. He did his thing. Still one of the best rappers in the world. Great production. Thank you, Dr. Dre, and everybody else that chimed in on this album. Great piece of work. One of our GOATs just delivered. And if you are an Eminem hater, sorry, it's true.